day 3 of my 40-day fast. A lot of what I experience is shared on IGTV at the Millennial Body Worker. I will link that below or the description below. At the same time, I hope you enjoyed my reading yesterday from the same book. But what I'll do is I think I'm just gonna write out the passage that I read so that you can watch it if you just missed out on it. But I'm not gonna add subtitles. Okay. So today I'm just reading one of their chapters on fasting and other traditions because I find it's interesting and I wanted to share it with you. Again, I will put it in the description below, just in the passage that I'm reading. What the eyes are for the outer world, fasts are for the inner. Gandhi. Fasting or abstinence from food is not an exclusively Christian practice, as we know. It existed and still exists in other religious traditions and even outside them, for example, in some therapies or medical treatments. Fasts vary in their duration, motives, and modalities. There are occasional fasts, regular fasts, inscribed in a sacred calendar. The fast may be religious or simply natural, medicinal or political. In primitive religions, fasting was often practiced before the hunt or harvest, or before initiation ceremonies or other rituals, or to approach a deity or receive visions, as amongst certain American Indian tribes or among the Tugues of Siberia. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Priestly groups amongst the Pueblo Indians fast during retreats before major ceremonies connected with changes in the season. Fasting for special purposes or before or during sacred times is also characteristic of major religions in the world. Buddhist fasting fasts on certain lunar days. In China, before the sacrifice during the night of the winter solstice, when the heavenly yang principle was believed to begin its new cycle, a fixed period of fasting and abstinence was observed. In India, Hindu sadhus and holy men are admired for their frequent personal fasts. Muslims fast for 30 days of Ramadan when they eat and drink nothing before sunset. Fasting has also served certain social and political purposes. Mahatma Gandhi, in the early part of the 20th century, used fasting as an effective strategy for his satyagraha, or protest for the truth campaign in India. He often called for collective fasts of 24 hours on a national or a local scale for the sake of purification or penance. He conducted a fast in prison to atone for the excesses of his followers who would not practice his teaching of nonviolence against British rule. Following Gandhi, fasting has frequently been practiced to protest against war and social evils and injustice, as in the case of the black former comedian Dick Gregory in the US, who from the 1960s fasted on only water and fruit juice in protest against the violation of civil rights of American Indians and against the US military activity in Southeast Asia. Similarly, the hunger prevailing in a great part of the globe has drawn many Christians to deprive themselves of one meal a week, the cost of which is given to charity. In this case, fasting is not only a form of public protest, but also an awakening of consciousness and a form of solidarity. Whether undertaken for religious, political, or ethical reasons, fasting and abstinence has been seen even in non-Christian contexts to promote a higher good to sustain the struggle for purity. For both the religious person and the nonviolent protester, fasting witnesses to the intensity of the desire, the seriousness of the concern, and the determination of the will to overcome evil. Did that in 5 minutes. Well done, Elizabeth. So we now know that, I think we've always known that fasting is not just one religion's thing. It's every religion and every culture has a kind of fasting. And as you can tell from YouTube and social media, intermittent fasting is becoming a thing. Water fasting is becoming a thing. Dry fasting is now a thing. Well, it's not now a thing. It's always been a thing. But I think it's going to be the new trending. Like I said in my first video, I think that yes, veganism has risen a lot, but I'm pretty sure fasting is going to be the next thing that really rises, because there's so much to it. As you can see, or as I have read, it's been around for many generations, and there is the struggle for purity. You know, maybe that's actually true. Like I said in the day before, when you top fasting with prayer and meditation, it really does take people to a higher level. When there is no longer food in the person's stomach, because food is a stimulant. I don't know if I want to add that today. Maybe I will. I'll say it really quickly. Food is a stimulant. Food is a drug. It can either increase someone's emotions or suppress it. And when you're without food, your real emotions come up, and that's a really interesting thing. So I can see how, you know, taking the food away and being able to be with yourself can possibly alleviate evil or fight evil. Is that evil of the mind? Because then you're kind of like you're a lot more conservative with your energy when you're not eating or drinking. Especially when you take things like alcohol or coffee away, then you're just really stuck with yourself and who you are. Who are you if it's not with, if without these alcohol, it's not sex, without the alcohol and the coffee? You know, are you someone that you actually like, or are you somebody who you're not so fond of unless you actually have a stimulant? These are all really good questions, and I've been asking myself this a lot for many years. Let me tell you, yeah, that who am I if I am without something? The idea of abstaining as well. I should tell you that abstaining story another time, but the idea of abstaining from things that you think are you, who you are. Who are you when you take that away? That's an interesting one. And when it comes to politically, wow, you know, my hats off to people who fast. Do they do that? I don't know. To fast or starve themselves in the name of humanity. Are we doing that? I don't know if we do that anymore. Yeah, I really don't know if we do that anymore. I would love to know if you know someone who does that. You know, who just fasts for humanity. Anyway, that's all I have to say, and time to upload this at a normal time, and I am going to enjoy my day.